Hello there, my dear viewers. This is the second part of Five Nights at Freddy's Autopsy. I strongly recommend checking out the first video of mine if you haven't seen it, where I went over the first game and overanalyzed it. And now, without any more stalling, let's get into the video. A thing that will haunt this world forever. The bad timeline has occurred. Five Nights at Freddy's has succeeded. The last attempt of a madman to hold his own in game making has been put into mainstream, and the creator of it rushed to make another one, creating FNaF 2 in 4 months. And before this, the hype grew even so bigger as a set of teasers were released on Scott's site, followed with a trailer on YouTube. Now, let's see what we can learn from this. Well, not very much, really. To regard new opening and replacing of the old animatronics by the toy ones. Then, there are 2 that are completely useless to us. One stating the obvious, and then the second beholding a marionette in the dark. Then trailer is a bit more interesting as it tells us something about both sets of animatronics, regarding old ones as forgotten, dismantled and deactivated, and the new ones as redesigned, reactivated and malfunctioning. Starting the game, we are put inside of a Freddy Fazbear in pizzeria from aerial game, and next to us are standing both Bonnie and Chica with designs from said game. We look around just for us to be flashed with a dark screen with an arrow sign, and then proper game start with title screen. This was first of many of such cutscenes which later happened after nights 2, 3 and 4. Second one is similar to the first, the animatronic slightly turning to us. Third, the Furies are looking at us directly and also Golden One joins. Last one, we are stared down by Puppet. First thing we see after selecting a new game, we are shown again a paper clip for a new job at Freddy Fazbear Pizza, stating its great reopening with a new coat of paint and brand new animatronics, which are just plastic toy-like version of the original cast. We go through the set of 7 nights with each harder than another, at first being attacked by the new animatronics to then take a backstage to the OGs, while Puppet also appears and we are forced to win that music box to call it down. Every night, every hour, every minute for the whole run of the game. How fun! We once again received the messages from the ever so alive phone guy, this time for the first 6 shifts. First night it was introductory tape, you know the drill. Nothing to worry about, blah blah blah. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for any crime or rumor about any of their location and so on. Then quick explanation of the gameplay and mention of the original location where some unrelated to Freddy Fazbear brand criminal activity happened, which resulted in closing of all Freddy Fazbear Pizza, which was left to rot and now is replaced by this very joint. Night 2, we got info on all the animatronics, few more mechanics about them and mentioned that they smell horrible. Third call, a backstory on Mangle. Fourth, something interesting at last. An investigation by police began around the pizzeria and animatronics started to act aggressively towards staff at day 2. Fifth, The case continues and it took a closer look at the previous employees and owner of Freddy Family Diner, the original location of Fazbear brand. And lastly, on night 6, pizzeria was closing as somebody used golden suit to murder more children. But there is one last party next day. And because it will be really uncool to miss all that potential money, we will going to be open for one more day and we will work there. Night 6 ends, and after which we leave the pizzeria for the upcoming day shift. Which is kinda sick if you think about this, as we just stay up for the entire night and yet, in few hours we are expected to just come back and do normal day shift now. Something must have happened during the day shift. The pizzeria is being closed and the new animatronics terminated. But that's not the end, surprisingly. We begin another night shift, the animatronics trying once more their best at us. But at the end of the night we manage to live alive. And then the truth is revealed. We're somebody different for this night. A newcomer at Freddy Fazbear Pizza, just starting his first night. The Fritz Smith, somebody of the very similar last name to the one belonging to our previous protagonist, Mike Schmidt, and the reason for the dismissal of the Fritz overlap with the Mikes. But for now, the story ends here. Well, I would say so, if not for the ultra-secret minigames that serve only the purpose of adding to the story and rewarding you for many deaths on the job. There are 4 in total, first being Save Them, which takes place in reopened Freddy Fazbear Pizza, where we travel to the pizzeria till we find Golden Freddy or one of the bloodied corpses of children. Well, that or we will find mysterious purple guy who will casually sprint at us and then, upon making bad touch to us, we are taken back to the main screen with a message that speaks, "You can't." Then there is gives lives, where Puppet gives a set of 4 bodies presents and then unpacks them to show them wearing masks of 4 animatronics of the original set, after which, for 1 frame, and 5th body appears just to be followed by a Golden Freddy jumpscare. Another one called Take Cake to the Children's, where we take cake to the children's. While outside of pizzeria, one child stands alone out there, just for the purple guy to show up and kill it, which is followed by a jump scare of a puppet themselves. And then last, Foxy Go Go Go, where we play as Foxy and we go to children's. Once, twice, but the 3rd time the purple guy shows up again and the children in the room in which they before were alive are now dead. Remember the last video? Yeah, forget it. Nothing about it really matters to the story of FNaF 2.
Expired. 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 They're all useless.
Why? Well, because FNaF 2 happens before FNaF 1. As FNaF 1 obviously happens few years after the bite of 87. Well, if it didn't happen then, nobody will call it like that. And FNaF 2 takes place during the year of 87. Also, Funga is alive, which, and knowing that in FNaF 1 he is not alive, And so, FNaF 2 is prequel to FNaF 1. But let's go back to the thing, starting with the timeline. My precious, well-crafted timeline. It needs some adjustments. We still start at early 70s with Fazbear brand opening. Now we know that first location was called Freddy Family Diner, where the first child-related incidents ever happened. And in result, Puppet was born and Freddy Family Diner was closed. Few years later, a place named Freddy Fazbear Pizza opened in replacement for the Fazbear Entertainment, from which originate 4 wither animatronics that appear now in FNaF 2. The first proper shift of our timeline, as shown in my last video, what happens here. As I say that the bite of 87 happened before the killings, and FNaF 1 was taking place in the year in which Freddy Fazbear Pizza was supposed to close down after the missing children incidents. I was wrong. The killings happened before the 87. And the news clippings were of old location. The one before FNaF 1, the one before FNaF 2, that one. Anyway, the Freddy Fazbear Pizza then closed somewhere between the days of early 70s and before 87. Then, the location of FNaF 2 was opened, with new safety measure applied so no more dead children could ever be found in pizzeria again. It seems that the company policy about cleaning carpets wasn't implemented yet, and because of that, investigation happened around the pizzeria, which resulted with nothing but the police finding out that purple guy was an old Freddy Fazbear employee and he used a golden suit. Later, the pizzeria was closed down after some good old forehead lifting of 87. The new animatronics were shut down, broken apart and thrown away, indicating that these idiots were responsible for it. Now the rest of the timeline is to be kept. FNaF 1 does happen a few years after 87, but not in soon to be closed pizzeria, but rather some kind of storage or replacement of a pizzeria that waits for the good time to be open again, as Phone Guy said. Okay, the timeline is fixed. The duct tape holds strong for now. We're gonna get into the specifics, like the animatronics, as we have now much more of them. So what's the deal here? The original 5, you know, the Freddy Gang and Golden Freddy, are still being hounded by the children from MCI. Then there is a puppet who was the first to die, so it could have helped the other souls to hound the animatronics by putting them inside of the suits. Well, minus Golden Freddy, who is still more of an illusion. Now, after the old comes the new, the toy animatronics. They are also haunted, they attack us and do weird things that are not in their best programming. But who they are possessed by? Well, in the Save Them minigame we can see dead children found in the pizzeria in FNaF 2. Who most likely end up possessing them? Now, there are 4 more secret animatronics, for which I have no explanation whatsoever. Not at all. There is shadow version of Golden Freddy, the JJ, Endo.2, and RWQFSFASXC. Yeah, no idea what these are. Moving on. There is one more. That being a paper decor made by children. It can move only at night 7. The night that happened after the closing of the pizzeria, and the bite of 87. Because of that, the paper plate paw can very much represent the victim of the bite, killed by one of the animatronics. Who is it? We know that while animatronics were perfectly nice to children, they turned hostile towards the staff, and who was on the day shift between the night 6 and 7. The first protagonist of FNaF 2, Jeremy Fitzgerald, now stuck among the furious spirits, trapped but still lured to his old office to watch over the one who now finished his work week. Well, that could be it if not for the fact that Fungi stated that the guy survived the bite in FNaF 1. But who knows, maybe he survived for a moment and then he died in the location still. I guess he did say that the body can live without the frontal lobe. He didn't exactly say the person can, isn't it? Just the body. After all, the frontal lobe is the part of brain that is responsible for speech, mental action and regulation of emotion. Without it, a human would not really be able to move or talk or feel anything. Basically a very vegetable, not really a living human. Who knows how souls works in FNaF? Maybe a real body can become a pin. Now, the cutscene between the nights, the ones in which we look through the eyes of animatronics in location of FNaF 1, which feel, well, out of place and related to the second game. That is, unless we presume that Jeremy Fitzgerald had become linked to the pizzeria just like any other animatronics, and maybe these dreams are but a vision of a future where he is forced to haunt the same pizzeria as the victims of Purple Guy. So that was most likely fate of the first security guard that we played through nights from 1st to 6th. But there is another, Fritz Smith, the one who was laid off for tampering with animatronics on his first day of the job. There are really only 3 possibilities for who could it be. First being the mysterious Purple Guy, who is having one of minigames to appear in reopened Freddy Fazbear Pizza and was wearing what looks like a security badge. But the thing is, he could not work his first day in the night 7 of our week, as another set of children were already dead by then and pizzeria was closed down for good. But that still leaves the question, when Purple Guy was there? Well, you see, there are in total 3 security guards mentioned in FNaF 2, as we can see on the pink slip and as Fungi mentioned during the night 1. There was 1 night guard before Jeremy. That will also explain why animatronics started to act up during the day, and why toys were aggressive since day 1 towards us, as Purple Guy was assigned briefly the position of day shift guard before his disappearance, so Purple Guy must be the first night guard and save the minigame happened right before the start of the game. But back to Fritz. Who is he? Well, we know only one sure thing about him, that being he was found tampering with animatronics. That links him to Michael Schmidt from the previous game, who also was laid off for the same reasons. We can suspect that Fritz was doing the same here, or maybe he was the same person even, looking for the differences as he will do in the future. Well, that or the first possibility is that he is some random person that doesn't connect to anything else in the series. Well, that is kinda anticlimax really. But I got nothing more to say here. That is the end of the video, you know. But thanks for watching. Oh, and I gotta say sorry for that bit at the start of the last video. You know, I don't think it was very nice to put jumps right at the beginning of the video and not in the retrospective of it. But yeah, I will work on a better opening, you know, some kind of intro. I guess I still got a half a month to do it. And the rest, you know, of actually putting this voiceover into, you know, visuals. But for now, I guess see you later. Remember to comment if you have any ideas or proposition to make this better, and thanks for watching. If anyone's there, actually.